pressing it.
Which was
then we're good to go.
You had the short.
Sweet.
Please
Please edit that.
That has to be part of the podcast. That has to be the beginning of the podcast. You got the short one.
I'm gonna make sure that's not.
He's just gonna edit that out real quick.
Just walked out of camera. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Hold on, I gotta fix something. Hold on. We're on to you, Jinno. You and your V-necks, your exercise videos. Yosef will work on that. All right, so let's just hop into it right away. All right, welcome to the second episode of the Showdown. Today it's Kyle,
Nate, Jinno,
Matt,
Enzo.
and we're going to be recapping this past weekend's Tournament of Champions and the Open Division. Before we really head into it, any general thoughts, any beginning ideas you guys had, or conclusions that you want to talk about? I know it was really terribly phrased there, but we'll roll with it.
All right. I don't know. I had fun. You guys had fun?
Yeah, fun was undoubtedly it was a fun tournament.
Like, I don't know. It was like really nice to see everybody. Like we said last time, right? Like everybody came together. Edmonton played our rules. They still loved it, no matter what.
No matter what, even if they disagree.
You guys loved it.
The thing was, they didn't have any problem with it. They were so cool about it.
Yeah.
That was cool to see.
They're great, and like as the day progressed, they got better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, my dark horse predictions coming true.
We had to play them first in the round robin. And I was like, oh man, like we're in trouble here. These guys can play.
Yeah, and we went for dinner with them on Friday.
Right.
And that was awesome. We had a great time with them. They had lots of questions about our game. Bryce has apparently made a dodgeball board game. There's only one copy. It's in his garage. And when we go to Edmonton at some point, we are playing that. Bryce, we are holding you to that.
You have 1 year.
You have 1 year. If the tournament's there next year.
Or just bring it, whatever.
Absolutely. So what were your general observations of the day, like beginning to end? I know some of you may have been there earlier than other people.
I got there when I could.
Oh yeah.
I had to print everything down, so I was like there by 12:45. No, not 12:40. 11:30. I don't know, whatever.
You know, for as many teams as were in the gym, like it looked like playoffs where there's tons of people in the gym, but it didn't feel like playoffs where people are like, ugh! Like everyone like right away, like I can tell who isn't in the VDL right away, and like immediately they were super friendly and like they were already joking around. And I remember Rogan came in and he was like, hey, you want to scare some people? And then like, he's just started wailing the ball. Like, sweet, bring it on. And the first thing, like a girl who was to the side of us, who I think might have been on the Victoria team, I'm not sure, she's like, was he going to get tired doing this? Or like, is he going to hurt himself? Like, is he going to stop throwing like this? Like, no, he only gets harder as they go.
Yeah, no, he's a Spartan. They have one speed. That's top gear. The rest of us, we have multiple speeds.
I'm like Danny's Powerball or Power Dodgeball, which is like 0 speed.
Danny's power dodgeball just results 5 seconds later with him on the floor, barely able to breathe.
Sorry, Daddy.
Sorry.
And your haircut.
Actually, I liked Danny's hair this week. Yeah, it was quite nice. I thought Danny did a good job. And I said, nice haircut, and he told me he didn't get one. Anyway.
Wait, was he in the gym? I didn't even see him.
Yeah, he was in the
I didn't see him all day.
Been open, right?
Yeah, he wasn't open with my team.
Yeah, him and Monica showed up together, and I was like, oh, hey, guys.
Cool.
And that was it.
I saw him twice. Once was when he's eating in the bleachers. The other was as we were leaving.
Was he pulling a CT? Was he pulling a Chris Tuck up and they're like,
he was
eating by himself?
Good game, everyone.
All right, so we'll hop right into the pools. We'll start off.
Making sure it's recorded. Okay, it is recorded.
Yeah, it's
I see a red light.
It is a red. I can see red right there.
Okay.
I can see the audience too. It's a camera. So we're gonna hop into the pools. Nathan, would you read to us the pools?
First of Pool A was Spartans, Throsamas Bin Laden, Princess Peach and Friends, Party Fiesta, and Team Amazeballs. Are we gonna keep going?
Yeah, no, we'll start with the first one. So what did you guys think of those two just on paper? Like that was my court. So before I hop into my observations, I was just like, what did you guys think? Or did you guys see any of those games?
Whose team? Throssama Bin Laden.
Oh, my apologies. That's one of the boss teams.
Okay.
Yeah. So and Team Amazeballs, that was Victoria.
Okay.
I wasn't here for the
And Party Fiesta was us.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right, Nate, what do you have to say about the pools?
They were cool. They ended up not where you expected.
Okay, well, you were there. How did your pool go? Like,
It was pretty laid back. You know, like Party Fiesta was definitely not taking it seriously.
That makes sense.
We were having a good time talking. We actually were very much against counting together and throwing together. It was a lot of random sporadic action. Spartans were their typical, very friendly selves. Matt Kennedy almost smiled. He was super close. Not quite though. I think Vo won that.
Oh, by the way, yeah, Vo smiled immediately. And the first thing I did was like, he smiled.
Yep. Vo's out. Kennedy wins.
But yeah, I think once that happened, Kennedy, the pressure was off, and he was actually in rare form for Kennedy. Like he was very like silly. He was being very silly.
Kennedy could relax. He's like, I've won this bet. I definitely watched the podcast. You probably didn't.
No, he just looks like that.
Well, I showed you that picture of like that guy who looks like it probably is Matt Kennedy in that commercial.
Yeah.
He smiled in that video. I watched it. I'll share it to you guys later.
Kennedy. I'm pretty sure it was Kennedy. We'll put a link in the description for this video. Was it Victoria? They were a lot of fun. Very athletic. Don't know all of their names. Dude with the blue shirt threw a lot of great no-look throws.
Yeah.
Caught a lot of people off guard with it. I think people who didn't see him in the first half of the day definitely weren't expecting that when he started doing that in playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they caught Hump Day off guard a couple times and almost knocked them out later on.
Yeah, by the way, the guy in the blue shirt, like he was throwing like sinker curveballs, like kind of like Nick, but they were a lot slower. Like they were like change-up speed. And there was one where like I dodged so early that like it was still coming down on me. Yeah. What? Yeah. And, like it totally pumped me out.
Here?
It was a mind mess.
Yeah, and long story short, Spartans emerged with the top record in that group, and it was a pretty straightforward group. You know, we went 6-6. I think most people were like in that range. Like everyone was close to each other with the exception of Spartans. So yeah, no, it was pretty good. What was that second group?
Pool B is Disney's Recess, Party, Uncrowned Generals, Hurls Gone Wild, Richmond Persuasion, and Better Safe Than Surrey.
You just love that name.
Well, it's true. So.
It is true.
But that's why I say I live in Surrey, even though like Langley's right outside the door. Got it, street cred. Like.
Oh yeah, when I googled this place, it said Surrey, and I was like,
right.
"This is Langley."
There's like the Langley right beside the
I know.
thing. I was like,
It's very confusing, Matt. You did this on purpose.
It's thug life, man.
Yeah, I noticed Justin wasn't there until maybe about halfway through the pool.
Yeah, he was working.
Yeah, so I guess that affected the standings a little bit.
Yeah. Well, in the very first game, there was a double catch by Jeff Bermundo.
I hear
Ooh.
that.
And I believe Rob, she, and Nathan.
That's what I've been told.
It was like right away, and I think Uncrowned may have pulled out that game. I can't quite remember. I was reffing, so I never keep track at that point. Don't tell anybody. But yeah, it was huge. It just like right away, and it was like, oh, is this one of those days where recess just isn't here? It was an ominous sign right away, and I was like, like this group all of a sudden went from recess being the clear favorites to potentially falling back into that group and it being anybody. And I believe another team actually finished first in that pool. But yeah, no, just a really interesting group. You know, it was closer than I think a lot of us thought going in when we looked at the pool. Uncrowned played quite well. Was it Hurls Gone Wild? Like they were right there the entire time.
Who's on that team?
Hurls Gone Wild. Oh man.
Was that a Surrey team?
That was no.
Boss team?
No.
Huh?
Is that a boss team?
That was
so.
Boss. That was Angus's team, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So that was one
I kind of know the boss teams as their colors.
Yeah, they were all wearing boss shirts.
which is
Boss
cool.
Blue, Boss Pink,
Okay.
Boss Green. Yeah, we had Boss Blue in our group.
Okay.
And that was, I believe, Boss Pink.
Okay. Got it.
Angus will correct us, and we just won't correct or fix it later. But yeah, no, just a really interesting group. It became tighter than what we would have expected. So Group C.
Pool C was Bananas and Brown Egg. Started from Rhinos, Now We're Here. Boys to Women, The Demons, and Hump Day.
So 3 of you were in that pool.
That was a tough
2 of you
group.
were actually present.
Sorry.
These two.
No, it's perfect. You coming in late. That
I think
worked out well.
the first game that happened in that pool kind of set the tone for what was going to happen. It was Bananas started from Rhinos, and they just went at it. And then
Yeah, I forgot. That was the very first game.
yeah,
The very first.
they went hard. I guess everybody else kind of had to follow.
Which is the Rhinos team, sorry?
That's
The Headhunter style. Team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Jack's team.
Oh, yeah.
That was great too, because that
jeez.
series, like, I think the first game, the Headhunter crew, like, they got beat, didn't they? They got
Yeah,
beat
I
pretty
think so.
quick. But then the next game was like, oh no, we're not going down that quick.
That's right.
And so it was like there was a war after that, and from then on,
Yeah,
it
that
was
ended
like,
up
oh.
2-1, I think, for Bananas.
And that's the thing about that team and that group of guys in particular. They don't stop. They're not intimidated by anything. If you punch them in the mouth, they're going to try and punch you in the mouth. Hopefully not literally.
Don't do it in dodgeball.
Yeah. But just like, with this group, like, the teams in this group are ridiculous. Like, how did these 5 teams end up in one group?
It was unlucky.
Yeah.
Group of death right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if there was, that's just it. If it was a proper elimination at that point, potentially one of those teams doesn't move on. And, like, can you imagine one of those teams not being in the top 16?
No, yeah, that's the thing too. There was a lot of talent in the gym, like in the competitive division, anyways. Like I'm not saying, but the open division, they still had talent.
No, we still had some.
But I didn't see who was over
They
there.
had Jinno.
It's the only guy that mattered.
No, but there was like a lot of talent, and a lot of power. It kind of reminded me of that Christmas tournament that SDL put on, where it's like, this is like a who's who of like all the players I would not want to play against, and it was like I didn't realize that there's so many more players, and they sort of all came out for this.
Was that the last one?
Yeah, the one that SDL did.
Second last one.
Second last one?
Last
Oh
one was
yeah,
SDL.
CDL did one after
Okay.
that. That's right.
Yeah.
That was a good SDL tournament.
Yeah, the SDL one was
Yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah, Nate. Why? Why was it good?
Nathan, did you potentially win a tournament?
No.
Yes.
So you're a liar.
Yeah.
All right. Nate, can you read us what Pool D was?
Pool D was the Wack, Looney Tunes, Category 5 Hurricane, Surrey Not Sorry, and Hello from the Dodgeball Court.
I'm pretty positive that was a spelling mistake on Trong's part for category instead of category.
Technology, please.
It was as soon as I read that, I'm like, that can't be right. I didn't want to really talk to the boss group and like correct it. You know, guys, did you mean this or did you guys send it in incorrectly? Because they were our guests, and you never blame guests. Blame the host.
All right.
Category 5
Blame Trong.
Hurricane. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. This group, I think, was the most wide open in terms of who could actually come out with the best record, and potentially was the tightest going in. Now, you guys were on that side of the gym. What did you guys see on that court?
It seemed pretty easy going. Like, they looked like they were having fun. Like, they weren't like, going hard.
Well, I'll counter that by saying whenever I looked over there, I was like, because there was a boss crew over there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was Boss Green.
Because going in, I'm like, okay, boss. Like the vids that we saw of their playoffs, I was like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. But like when I watched that, I'm like, oh, they can all play. This is gross. And so whenever I looked over there, I was like, oh, this is gonna be more competition. Like I assumed that they were not gonna be up at the same level, but they definitely were. And I was happy to see the Wack back out there, softball, the original softball thrower.
Absolutely, it was fun seeing softball.
Yeah.
When I first came to the gym and I spotted him, I was like, softball! And I
Yeah,
came
so
running
happy.
across and gave him a big hug. He's like, I'm warming up. I was like, all right, cool, I got my hug. But yeah, and that was the champ from Boss, Mr. Duncan Fong was on that court, looking spectacular and spiffy as always. So that was just kind of it. And we got through that first half of the schedule, and then the second half of the schedule was time permitting. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't realize that they changed the teams.
Yeah,
They switched all over. And I remember going, all right, cool, we're going to be up next. And I was like, no, they weren't on this court. What's going on here? And then we got told we were on the other side, so we had to go run to the other side. We got one game in, and then for our court, they pulled the schedule. So all other 3 courts were still playing, but our court got the schedule pulled. So we're throwing balls around, not really doing anything, looking around, going, "This is really weird," And I said I was going to do this for him. Props to Jeff Kelly for following instructions to a T, because apparently they were told at 2:30 to pull the schedules, and those schedules weren't pulled. So our court was the only one not doing anything. So what resulted from that was our team sat around for 2 hours not doing anything.
there was a long gap there.
Yeah.
There was a huge gap.
And that was something that was really disconcerting. From a tournament that you want to be moving forward with something, there was a 2-hour gap where there was nothing planned.
They were waiting for me to get there.
I doubt
It worked
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
No, I think you guys did fine without me.
Yeah, I think you guys did better.
We had a better record without Nate. we ended groups 9-3, I think, and then our playoffs we lost more than 3 games.
We were 8-3, 11-5, I think, 11-6.
Your math is terrible. But But yeah, that was something that like I was looking around, and for like Edmonton and Boss, they were on our court on the second half of it. So they and it was Boss Green. They also experienced a long gap without anything happening, and we like these guys came out to play dodgeball.
Yeah.
And there was no dodgeball happening, and it was frustrating because even though for myself I'm not an executive anymore, I don't represent the leagues. I felt bad. I felt bad that they were sitting there, and I was like I was asking like, what's going on? Are we getting games going? Can we have a schedule back at least something? But no, and then we found out the second half of the schedule didn't even count.
Right. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to that? Is that the next part you want to talk about?
A little bit,
because there's some stuff I could bring up, but yeah, I don't know if we're.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's a conversational podcast.
Keep it flowing.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. As long as we're insulting Nathan, we're good.
He's like, I'm not talking.
Keep it going.
One thing I noticed was they just started doing big games at one point, like the whole and I thought that was cool. Like that makes sense. That's a very natural thing to do. So if anyone wants more dodgeball, which I did not want more dodgeball, like I need to save all my fingertips, just like save it all. Yeah. But so it was mostly socializing with people that I didn't know at that point. But I was happy to see just big games start up. Like that is dodgeball incarnate.
That was the main entrance, that side, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were playing games on the other side.
The far
from
side.
what I saw, right?
The normal tier 1 side.
Yeah.
The normal tier 1 side. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was good. Like something that probably would have helped in that situation if there was a radar gun.
Yeah.
If there was a radar gun there, like, people could have started throwing. I know that was one of the questions we got on Friday evening from the Edmonton crew was, how hard do you guys throw out here with the foam balls? And that would have been a fantastic opportunity for the Edmonton crew in particular to see how they stack up, foam versus rubber when it comes to speed. It also would have given us potentially a new benchmark for who's the fastest thrower, because we really
a rare occasion to try that.
Jack was there too, right?
Yeah,
the hardest
exactly.
thrower.
Oh, you're right.
Byron, Sean.
We had Rogan.
Yeah.
We had Jack.
Nick.
We had
Travis.
Nick. We had Travis. We had Victor. We had all these guys who are known as heavy hitters in the same gym, but no radar gun.
Yeah.
And that would have been really cool to see. I think that was something that definitely can come in for future tournaments.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that a bit later. So we're gonna hop into the bracket now and talk about it. Talk about how that played out. And we're not gonna go match by match. We're gonna talk generally about who is on each side of the draw, and then roll through. We may mention specific matches such as the CDL Showdown, but we won't go into specifics until we get to the finals. Sounds good, guys?
Sure.
Yep.
Awesome. So on your guys' side of the draw, there was you guys, there was Boss, there's a few of the bosses, actually I think all three of the bosses that were on your guys' side. One didn't get through, I think, into the actual main part. You had two Surrey teams.
Yeah.
You had
Richmond.
You had Richmond. You had Brandon's team.
Yep.
Despite the fact that Brandon told us that it's not Brandon's team, it's James's team.
James' team.
Yeah, James's team.
Okay.
Featuring
Isn't that
Brandon.
Jackie's team?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jack. Yeah,
There's
sure it was
a bunch
Jackie.
of Jackies on there.
But yeah, you had that team. So then we go to the other side, and we had, I believe, Hump Day. We had Spartans.
Yeah.
We had Jack's team. We had Bananas. We had Recess. We had Princess Peach. We had Looney Tunes. And we had Party Fiesta. So when we run through those teams, what stands out to you guys right away? Because I know what stands out to me.
Your side
easier
seemed
side.
crazy.
Yes. Yes.
It seemed incredibly crazy.
Yeah, and that's just the way it played out. And Enzo, actually, you had a suggestion or like a thought on that.
Yeah, I thought the seating was done kind of weird. I would have imagined that the top team from each group would be placed on the four corners of the brackets, and then seeds 2 and 3 would be placed on the other side of wherever seed 1 is, on one on the top and one on the bottom, and then of course 4 and 5 they go and do their own thing.
Yeah, they get left up to pasture.
Right. But that would guarantee that nobody from the same groups play each other, at least until quarters, which would make more sense.
Very true.
Because what happened was that Bananas played Jack's team first round, and that's unfortunate, right? Like it's.
But didn't Bananas place low?
Bananas did place low.
So.
But how they seeded was your overall record, and then they just kind of numbered you off after that.
Yeah. So for your group in particular, which was stronger than every other group, I think that's very identifiable. Your teams had a record that could be compared to, say, my team, which did not have the same strength across the board when it came to teams. So if we had a 6-6 record and you guys came out with a 3-9 record, you guys might quote unquote be better, but due to that matchup, we were put into a certain position. So potentially you guys could have been playing bananas or any of those teams in the first round. And even beyond that, if you go to a more broader scale of this tournament was about playing people that we don't normally play. So right away we had two teams playing each other, and who had just played each other in the pool. And that kind of defeats that little bit of it. So you're not seeing all these people, you're not getting to play against these new styles. Something we talked about last week at the top of it, you're not getting that experience of something new coming to the game. You're just getting the same people. So it was I could definitely see the frustration there. And yeah, our first match, what's it called? We were against Looney Tunes, we hadn't seen all day. And our second match was against Recess, who we hadn't seen all day. And then our third match was against Bananas, who we hadn't seen all day. So we lucked out. But that wasn't the case for everybody. And that's something that, as Enzo said, could have been better.
It worked out for us, but for sure. Cause
Your draw,
but I mean, I would have liked to play one of those really, really strong teams. Just
You wanted to face CDL.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that?
Nothing.
No. Yeah.
It was Twitch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Remember, you play with this guy.
It was the first tournament though, so obviously it's not gonna be perfect, but it's good to get sort of the groundwork done for this one, then you know what to do for next time. So I think.
For sure.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining. I had the easy playoff draw.
What a great tournament!
Angel's not complaining.
Let's do it like this every time.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with that point. What we're talking about right now is more to do with constructive feedback than negative criticism. Because these are observations that we're seeing. As much as it irked us in the moment, we're approaching it from perspective of what can we do about this to make it better.
Didn't irk me at all.
Yeah, I didn't know there was any irking going on.
Captain Fun surely had something to say about that, but he's Captain Fun.
Captain Fun had his cape on at one point and flew away.
Is that when he got knocked over?
But yeah, so moving through it, which series stood out to you guys? Because you guys were on the other side. So you guys maybe were paying attention more to that court. I know a bunch of them went to 7 games over there. I think Edmonton and Boss Pink.
Is that Angus's team?
I think it was Angus's team.
It's just Angus's team because I know they played each other.
I don't know if they went to 7, but it was.
I couldn't tell. Once it went to best of 7, I didn't know.
4-2. I think it's 4-2.
But it was exciting.
Yeah, that was one of the most exciting sets of the whole tournament, I thought.
It's the Alberta battle.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because people were there watching too. I think that was the most people watching a game because everyone was still there. They hadn't left yet. So the gym was very electric, and I love that sound when stuff is happening in dodgeball and you're in the gym and you hear it. There was a lot of that for that, and that was early on too in the tournaments. It's whoa.
I don't think any of them really left. They just went to the bleachers.
Maybe
Yeah, the bleachers became pretty full. I didn't see too many people actually leaving outside of Spartans. Spartans, because they always do. Whenever they're out, they're done.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome, have a good time. We're going to go do something else. But yeah, no, it was something actually on Peter's camera. It really picked up the sound of the balls hitting the wall. I was like, it made me it made my throws sound like I had power. And I was like, more of this. Peter can record every time I play. That works for me.
Good job, Peter.
Yeah, I feel better now as a person. Thank you, Peter Fenwick. But yeah, no, it was great. Another one of the boss teams pushed Brandon's team to a game 7.
Really?
It might have actually been Angus's team or the other one.
I think it was Angus's team because I remember a
team.
Showdown was happening at the very end for some reason.
Yeah, and then the other boss team that was remaining, they pushed Kevin Vo's team to 7 games, and I think even had a 3-2 advantage at one point.
Oh, crazy.
So for a league like Boss that really underplayed their own abilities,
Yeah, they definitely did.
Showed up.
I don't know if those were all-star teams or if those are the teams that they normally have in the league or whatever, but it was funny playing against all the teams from other leagues. You don't know who these players are, but once they throw at you, it's now I have to this guy's throwing reverse curves and this guy's throwing heat, this person can catch. It was neat to you just underestimate people that you don't know. Because in the VDL, it means you must be a tier 3 player or someone that I haven't seen yet. We know a lot of the tier 1 players just because we see them all the time. So you just get that. Well, I don't know that person, so they must be a tier 3 player. But then when they throw a curveball at you with some heat, no.
That's a cool thing though, because
that was awesome.
Because you said, we see each other on a weekly basis. And I know how Matt's gonna throw. I know what Kyle's gonna throw. I know how Nathan plays. He just slides. And you know how Enzo's gonna play, and then you play these guys are
Easy.
And then you see these guys throwing curveballs that you've never seen before, and then you're just like, okay, I gotta adapt this right away, right? Unlike us, like we know how you play, but like still we still gotta learn to adapt a lot better. But these guys are like miles ahead of like our adaptation level where it should be.
Oh, absolutely. And watching Boston, going back to a point I think you guys made last week about footwork and about how everyone's on point with their footwork in VDL. The footwork from Boss is so much different. There's so much energy into what they're doing. They, in our league, we would consider that over moving.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
It's a lot of movement.
But it worked
Pretty
for
lazy
them.
though.
Yeah. True. We've hit a point where we've given up. Somehow one team wins, we go okay, and then we all go home. But yeah, no, like that worked for how they play the game, and their structure too really facilitated that. So as soon as they get that tactical and strategical knowledge down, and they adapt that, or they not adapt it, but like bring that into their game.
Good man.
Those things are delicious. Yeah, Leanne made us brownies this week. It is awesome.
Enzo?
Enzo, yeah, he's still good over there, buddy.
He's holding
No.
out for now.
Yeah.
It's not gonna last
Enzo, that's
long.
like your old man pose. Like you're just, no, I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna have one too, Enzo.
Your frisbee's not coming back too. You should have thought about that before you threw it 20 yard. But yeah, no, like I was really impressed with Boss. Like watching their playoffs, like definitely there were things that you could take from it. And as to your question earlier, your thought earlier, they were all-star teams coming from Boss. They weren't teams that played during the league normally. That was something that one of their players mentioned to Angus while I was playing in a game. I was leaning in and listening in and contributing to the conversation. But that's just it. Like for these teams that showed up to the tournament that were all-star teams, be it Boss, Edmonton, CDL, and Richmond, like they had to adapt on the fly. But they also had the advantage of no one understanding how they played together. And in particular, Party Fiesta, no one really understood what was going to happen at any point because we didn't either.
It's a good advantage to have.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
total Joker card.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really cool to see them play. We're kind of skipping over two leagues right now. We haven't talked about them too much, but Wack and Richmond, like what were observations of those two leagues?
Well, Richmond kind of got screwed over because Brendan got injured, and
Yeah, I think that made a huge difference.
Yeah, that would have been a big difference for him.
I can't remember. I think there was someone else. Did someone else get injured as well?
Nick Simon missed his flight.
Oh, yeah,
and
he did.
Joe Conti injured himself prior to as well. So there were a few last-minute subs for Kevin Vo's team because Nick wasn't there.
Oh, Nick was supposed to be on that team?
Nick Simon was supposed to be on the team. They picked up Josh, who was the one with the backwards cap.
Oh, right. Okay.
Who played insanely well.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Made some great catches.
I would have put him the MVP on their team at least.
Yeah,
When we were
I would
playing
think so
against them
too.
at
When we were
least.
playing against him, he was definitely one of the
Yeah.
strong players.
And on Matt Conti's team, Jason Peterson. He's the one that, if you guys have seen the video on Facebook, where he makes the juggling diving catch with one hand.
Oh, that was
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, I did see that.
It was a little blurry, but you can totally make it out. It just comes reach and then just dives for it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I saw that live. I was watching that game and it was like, damn. And having spoken to Peter about this, apparently he's only played for a season.
Oh god.
Oh.
Dedication for
All
that
right.
ball.
It's a good start. Yeah. It
Yeah.
took me I still can't do that. So.
Yeah,
Just gets hit. Oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too far.
Forget it.
yeah.
I'll play
Just
this game.
catch me back in.
That is what I rely on.
I got you.
I'll see you guys in game 2. But yeah, with Richmond, like they definitely had to overcome the absence of Brendan, and Brendan is such a solid player. He's such a well-rounded player
For sure.
and that was a huge hole. I think already
Pulled in Matt, I think, right?
Matt was
Matt
already
did.
on the team.
I thought Matt was on Looney Tunes.
That was a common mistake, and I actually spoke to Matt about this. Matt, when Witten first brought it up, Matt said no, that he was playing with RDL. Everyone else on Looney Tunes just assumed that he was on the team and started telling people that he was on the team. And so Matt spent the first bit of Saturday explaining to people that he was not on Looney Tunes.
So they did have 4 guys then at least.
They did have 4 guys. Yeah, they played 4 guys, 2 girls.
Okay.
And for them, probably of all the leagues, they're the least furthest ahead in terms of ability. But that said, I think they're going to get there because you start looking at what they have. It's raw. It's a lot like how Boss was when they first came out to JDRF a few years ago. They were very raw, but it's there and it's coming. And if they can handle the pressure of having their names mentioned on this podcast, they'll do even better, right, Jasper?
Well, there's some spillover into VDL with RDL as well, right? Like,
Absolutely, and I think that is potentially a hindrance to that league's development.
Yeah.
Is that you're starting to, and it's something I said after the first season I played out there, that I really hope that no all-star VDL teams come in here. And if they do, they break up after one season.
Right, Nathan?
Yeah, right, you too. Because in terms of like development of both the community and the league itself, in ability and intermingling, having one team as a power team that came in from outside of played for a while, it restricts development because
you know what it is? It's a
becomes
prime
hard.
directive. You know, you don't want to go in and mess up a species before they're ready for like interstellar space travel.
Good old Star Trek.
On the other hand, you want to see how far people have developed. So I think
Yeah.
I look at a different perspective as like this is where we need to be in order to be able to play competitive. But at the same time, like you said, the species coming in, like
Species.
First contact mission, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So
You gotta wait a bit
Stewards
before
coming
first
back.
contact.
I look at it that way too. So it's just,
Well, and along that
it
lines,
happens a
like,
little
absolutely, a team like that coming in fine, but let's say you guys had broken up after you guys won, and you
Yeah.
started grabbing people.
Oh, yeah.
You started grabbing new people to play with. Like, you formed a team. You're grabbing people you have identified in the league and bringing them forward. And that's something that has happened in VDL. If we look across this, this couch right here, we all didn't start where we are now. And part of it was playing with people that were better, that brought us on, or were helping us outside of
Or
the gyms.
breaking out of our group, right? So that's the
Exactly.
biggest thing.
So it's something that I would like to see more of, because CDL, fortunately enough, before Strangers won in season 4, they had 3 seasons to develop. RDL just finished their 3rd season, and
Okay, yeah, you're right. That is early.
And arguably, every season's been won. With actually every season has been won with VDL players, or players that have not started in that league. And I remember the first time that after Strangers won 2 seasons, when Family Friends with Healthy Alternatives countered Strangers with Candy when they won, it was a big deal. It was a point of pride. And I would love to see RDL get to that point.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a good point. Good way to put it. I hadn't really thought about that, especially when you said it's like 3rd season just wrapping up. And especially since they're so close. It's like right across the bridge from VDL. Like you turn down Night Street or you keep going, and it's like it's RDL or VDL.
And even along those lines, even to counter my own point, you're seeing some of these RDLers have success in VDL. Veronica won Tier 2, I believe, on Wednesdays this past season. I believe, she had a Band-Aid belt. She was quite proud of that.
I
So
don't have one of those.
That's a hard one to get.
You have a
It's
2-1.
difficult.
Like, just got it.
Enzo's getting old. It took him a while.
We did the reverse. I haven't won my tier 1 yet, but I won my Band-Aid belt.
I have both.
Here's a
Shut
question.
up,
Nate.
Nobody out of nowhere. What's wrong with you, young man?
Do you have youngins?
I was really hoping he was going to get lost on the way here.
That's one thing I wanted to ask with other leagues. Like, how come they don't have multiple leagues per week? So like a Monday league, Tuesday league. Like VDL's the only
Numbers.
league
SGL as well.
Numbers.
Yeah.
I guess they just did 2.
I think it became a priority. I remember when I was still involved with CDL, I brought it up, and there wasn't an appetite for that amongst the execs, or the people who started the league. And I don't know if that appetite has come in yet, but they seem pretty happy with what they have. And for a league like CDL, their community means more than the actual development of the game in some ways. And not to say that they don't give a shit about dodgeball, but they care more about Matt than how Matt does, if that makes sense.
Okay.
How do you do, Matt?
I do.
They do. You do. But that's just it. They've put their energy into that. If they were ever to expand, they would put that same energy into that, and that focus would still be community based. But I think until they have the demand to go beyond the number that they're at, they're comfortable. And you look at a league like Surrey, kind of the contrast. In some ways, they have a really strong community, but they also want to expand.
Yeah.
They have a lot of territory to work with.
Yeah.
Because even though their league gyms are located in the Guildford area, they host their off-season drop-ins out in Cloverdale.
Dude, their drop-ins like next
Yeah.
to the 7-Eleven that I go to get like, sodas. Like it's that close to here.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like they have a lot of territory they can cover.
Yeah.
To the point where when they get to a larger position with more players, they could even split it and have a Cloverdale league or a Langley league. There's a lot of potential for them to grow and expand, and I think that they're going about it in a really good way.
I guess it's just fortunate then that VDL has all those nights. So like, if you want to come in and like learn some dodgeball, like you can learn really quick. Like, play a Monday league, play a Thursday league, play a Wednesday. Do it all. Just play it all. Like it's a lot of dodgeball, a lot of opportunity for dodgeball.
Absolutely. And what did we see of the Wack? Because that's a league that we really haven't seen before.
Right? Yeah, because it's far away. It's way out there.
We like softball, but not that much.
Yeah. You gotta go drive the other way. Like,
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
is this way, not that
Like, we
way.
know there's a sky train that goes out there.
Wait, yeah, no, I'm like,
No,
wait,
no.
I know they've been developing, but that's impressive.
Yeah, just under everyone's nose. But yeah, no, like, what were observations and thoughts that you guys had from the games that you saw them play?
Reminded me of CDL from what I saw. Like, not high tier CDL, but I played a lot of like tier 3 and tier 2 in CDL when I was coming up, and it seemed a lot like that, especially since softball was there because I used to play on his team.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very much computer nerd dodgeball.
Yeah.
And I say that in the nicest way.
Yes, and I know exactly what you mean by that. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a problem.
Yeah, and I...
Couple of nerds.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, it was very, very energetic. There was a lot of, like, kind of how it was back in the day, where it was just like, oh, there's a person, phew! And, you know, and there wasn't a lot of coordination, but there was a lot of things happening. You know, it's probably the
there was
best
a
way
lot
to
of
say it.
things happening.
There were a lot of things happening.
Do you know if that was an all-star team, or was that a team from a league night?
I don't know.
Okay.
That was a question I didn't ask softball. I didn't see him after a little bit, and I didn't catch him before I left.
Yeah.
Softball.
Michael.
Get out.
Michael Sempowich. He's the first guy I ever saw throw like a 60-plus underhand like softball
crazy.
throw, and it curves as well. So it was like
Yeah.
it was the first curveball I'd had to deal with too, because we used to play at BCIT on Mark Williams' team like way before I was even in a league. So that was like the first really good thrower I'd ever had to deal with. So he became softball because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. In the same way that your last name is Kramer, but everyone calls you Kramer because Mark called you that.
And I'm like, fine,
Yeah.
whatever you want. It's not worth correcting
it's
like 100
fun
people.
fact. But yeah, no, it was good to see them. I was really happy because we didn't think that either them or Victoria were going to show up.
Yeah,
we
last podcast we didn't even know they were coming.
we had no idea. We thought Toronto was coming.
Right?
Yeah.
We
they
wasted
did
2
well.
minutes on Toronto last.
Damn
week.
it!
Yeah.
You guys did well though, Toronto.
Yeah, way to go. You guys didn't have to worry about
Lost in overtime to Montreal.
paying for flights. What?
They lost in overtime to Montreal in hockey yesterday.
Okay.
Wrong sport, Nathan.
Oh shit!
Go home.
Yeah. Remember that lady who sits near us for season tickets? She rings a cowbell and starts calling out the people's names, and she even calls line changes sometimes. That would be you. But yeah, so moving back into the actual bracket playoff. You know, I already know where this is going to go, but what series stood out to you guys the most?
Fine, we'll say it.
Yeah, it was the CDL Showdown.
It was good. It was good.
It was
It was
really good.
amazing.
Party Fiesta versus Recess.
Yeah.
Game 7 to be specific.
We went to
by the
game
way.
Well, the whole
7.
thing
The
was
whole thing
fun.
was kind of
I
fantastic.
only got in
I
there
think
with
I
Game 7,
I
so I
think
can
I got there
really
Game 5. Game 6
gather
was really
everything
intense
in.
too.
Yeah, it was great. Like we went in there, like even before the whole thing started, it was just like, okay, it's recess. Like, cool. And we kind of talked about things like, okay, guys, we play a really good team game. And it was just like, we're just saying like
That's what
nonsense
you guys
to each other. Yeah, we're just saying nonsense to each other, but we're just like trying to get ourselves like ready to be to play a team that is as good as recess. And we're like, you play a really good team game. You know, Travis will throw at you.
Is this what they say in the huddle before the game? That's so odd. Let's play a good team game.
Yeah. Watch out for that Matt Hung. He might also throw at you too.
Oh, right.
They'll make catches.
He'll make the occasional catch.
Duck
But-
when Justin throws.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Actually, to be fair to Justin,
Watch
in that
your
series,
left ear.
he didn't throw that high.
That's true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Justin
But then he
didn't
got
throw
cut
that
out
high.
when he threw low.
Yeah. I think we know why Justin throws high now. No, but yeah, no, it was a cool series to be a part of. Like we walked into it and like, oh, there's our president. Before him, we were talking like, Matt Hung said, hey, if we don't win, you guys better get to the finals. I'm like, you guys better win then, because I don't want to go to the finals. Let's dodgeball.
I actually just followed the noise. Like I wasn't watching when it started, but it started just getting crazy over there. So it's like, oh, I have to watch what's going on now.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was that the beginning of Game 7, that first 20-ish seconds. That's the loudest I've heard DT since probably the last time Recess won.
I think that's the biggest crowd I've seen in a while. Even though it is other leagues, but people stayed to watch that whole thing.
Yeah.
I remember talking to one of the Edmonton guys at pub night, and he was like, "Oh, I missed that whole thing. I was in the washroom taking number 1, and I heard a yeah." I'm like, he's like, okay, I'm probably missing something good. And then 2 seconds later, there was another yeah, and he's like, oh crap, I'm definitely missing.
Hurry!
And then the very last one, like. It wasn't the very last catch. I think it was Shane's catch or somebody. I'm not.
It was C-Val's. It was Chris's
C-Val's
catch.
catch.
And he caught Rob.
And then he's like, yeah, and he's like, fuck, I missed everything.
The best part of that Game 7, you're watching our team, and I'm just standing there, and I'm just watching. I'm like, man, we're playing really good right now.
It's like,
go team.
Well, especially Peter had a good shot of it. It was like top down. It wasn't like the normal head level.
Yeah.
And I saw you in the corner. You're like, what's Kyle doing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm taking in information and going like, we're doing really well. Good job, guys. They're just doing a bunch of bums. They slap down. Good job, guys. Keep it going. I did hit Nathan. So I contributed. I definitely was a part of the solution. I led to it. I helped our victory happen in a very small bit. But yeah, no, it was crazy being a part of that. And on our team, Party Fiesta, I think Shane Solberg played really well.
Oh yeah,
throughout the entire day. I think Shane. He came to win, but in a way that he almost hasn't previously. Like, he was focused and calm on the court. And when I've seen him previously, he's won that victory so much that it's almost taken away from his performance. But, like, that day, like, he was just on point, making catches. He won a showdown against Rob. And as we all know, Rob's not the easiest person to play against in a showdown. He came to win because he wanted our team to win. It wasn't I don't have a championship, I really want to win a championship. It was, I really want us to do this. And he played fantastic. Carrie and Helene, amazing. Mark Williams, usual self, chest passes between the legs, jumping in the air and throwing. But he also, when it got to it, he really got into it. Like he made a great catch on Matt Hung in, I think, Game 5, where he jumped over Nathan's throw and caught Matt's on the way down.
Oh, that's crazy.
And actually speaking to Nathan Ng, I thought Nathan once again had a very subtle but effective game. He's such a smart player, and we were talking about this before we actually went live. When I made the catch on Rob in Game 5, and then I almost got the catch on Travis, Nathan had calmly observed the whole thing, saw that I was out, and then threw his ball at me to reset it off me. And right now, under the rules, that's totally fine. Problem was, it got stuck under my foot and didn't go anywhere. But that thought was
that's the right idea.
Exactly, and that's something that you can absolutely use effectively. It's the same way that if you someone who blocks back at you, if you need to get a fresh 10 count, you throw right at them.
Oh, that's me.
Give you the ball
I
back.
do that.
I know
I do
you
that
do.
all the time.
Trust me.
Enzo, give me your ball. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. There you go, buddy. I got
It's
you.
probably the safest way to block though, because I'm always like get fancy, like keep it to the side, and then it always hits me.
Yeah.
And then you get your fingers in
Well,
it.
that's the
Yeah.
biggest mistake when people tend to block. They do it the more advanced way of trying to swipe it down instead of just do it the first way. Just do this first,
Yeah.
and then you build on top of it. But anyways,
absolutely.
go on.
But yeah, no, it was great, and the comments we've seen on Facebook afterwards have been extremely positive. Donna Ramsey said it was an inspiration for her to get better.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like a lot of people responded very positively to that game. So moving on from it, I guess we'll get to the final now. So the final was boys to women. Fourth time I said it right. Versus Bananas. So you guys played in that game. Tell us about it.
I dumped the bed the whole series. So I not only did I dump the bed, but like from the series we played against Brandon's team, which was semifinals. Like I had to play a showdown against Wincy, and that was like me. I think that was me physically going to the limit, and I was physically done, but I was still mentally there. And then like when we played Banana, like there was a moment where like the first throw I did like bounces up, Byron makes like a really nice like kind of fluky but bounce up catch, like
Oh, I saw that.
And
I was
then-
like right there in that corner too.
Nate catches me back in. I'm like, let's go. Second chance, immediately hitting the foot. Like, Okay, game 1 in the bag, whatever. Like game 2, let's go. Immediately hitting the foot again. That was me like just cashing out mentally. Like I was physically and mentally like but you know these guys they'll tell you how it goes because I wasn't on the court. But
the good thing about Matt is that he acknowledged that he wasn't performing, so he's like, I want to sit off. I'm not doing you guys any favors. Like you guys probably got the best chance. So
But
it's tough to do as a player, especially when you're in the finals, especially your Div 1. You want to win, but you know
It's the ego check, right? You gotta make
definitely,
sure.
like,
But it was also like you guys were playing hot and like it's just like let the streak keep going. Like if you guys were playing like I'd been like let's go, I'm on the court. But like you guys were playing awesome.
Fuck you, Enzo. Get off.
Well, also I saw you hit Carolyn out, so I'm like Enzo was ready. He was like stay in Enzo.
She also caught me out a couple of times too. But
that was the very end of the game.
But yeah, I did hit her out once.
There was one game I thought it was like a repeat of last season. Was Carolyn by herself and you guys had
I know. I thought I was like,
I'm like, oh my god! And then I watched that video too. I was the only person to hit Carolyn. All the other balls weren't even close at it. It bounces off her chest. I'm just like, oh my god, it was gonna be me!
Yeah, I remember that. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Like, this is redo. Like, how are they gonna do this?
And I'm like notorious on our team for throwing catches. I'm like the guy that like loses us games because I throw
Hey,
catches.
somebody has to be that guy.
Right, but
Not today, or not this
Can't always
game.
be Kevin.
Yeah, the first 2 games we ended up losing, which kind of sucks. And
Yeah, down 0-2 in a best of 5.
yeah,
right?
we
So-
went, I know me personally, I really didn't want to have a 3-0 final because those are really boring. So
right.
Yeah, everyone was watching, like, and it's like, come on,
it's
let's.
a lot of pressure, and that's when I was.
Well,
just
you
like,
stepped up. That was like that was a
That
huge
was my
performance
game,
on your part. That was you playing at 100 overall for a couple games. Like I was very impressed by that. That was a very good
I didn't want
performance.
to go 3-0.
That's what it's like to come in fresh and not play in the round robin, right?
Yeah, I played the whole
Absolutely.
playoff.
And actually, you kind of mentioned something there, best of 5. What were you guys' thoughts on it being best of 7 until the semifinal, and then went to best of 5?
I like it because it was weird.
You know, I actually like the best of 7.
Yeah.
It got us through. I mean, we played against Kevin Will's team, and we
Yeah.
were down 3-2.
We would have lost.
And
if it
then
was-
we won the next 2. I think Nancy and I.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about like consistency of experience? Because teams that went down 0-3, battled back in some cases.
Right.
Teams that went 0-3, in the semifinals, such as my team, didn't have that opportunity. I thought we had a best of 7, and I was told, "Oh no, series is over." Like
That was like when we played Brandon's team. We were up 3-1. It's like, do we have another game? Oh, we won.
Yeah.
We're in the finals.
Oh, was that Mattia's like, okay, let's go one more game, guys.
Yeah.
No, we're done, Mattia.
That makes you think though. Let's say in regular playoffs for VDL, like, let's say you set yourself off because you know what, this team's playing now, but like, let's say your team loses, but you're still like, okay, what if I play the next game? Do we have that chance to come back or something?
Yeah.
That was the good thing about best out of 7. You get tired, but like, it gives you that moment to think like, you know what, I could actually do something here to help these guys out. I'm not saying like your team sucks, but they're not playing the best of their ability because someone's really tired, so it's taking that draw out of that person.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would have preferred just a consistency of experience all the way through the bracket and the playoff. Just due to the fact that you don't have these other moments where you go like, oh, well, this could have affected us in this way.
Yeah.
And even more so when you got down to the final 4 teams and then you change something, like that alters the mindset a little bit. And I don't,
It seems weird to go from high best of 7 to best of 5. Like it almost would have made more sense to go up instead of like best of 5 to best of 7.
And I
I could have seen it in a way where like you go with best of 5 first and then you see that you have more time at the end, then you move it to the best of 7.
I think at that point you would have just kept a consistency of best of 5. It's hard to admit, be like,
Yeah.
oh, let's do best of 7 now for the finals.
Oh, I agree. And
But-
that's something that can be, say, put into place for next year, where it's best of 5, and then we get to the semifinals. Now it's best of 7.
Time permitting.
Exactly.
Right.
I think
But I see merit in best of 7.
Totally.
I prefer the best of 7 actually.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed best of 7.
Yeah,
too.
because
Have a better
I
chance.
see like in the finals, if we played the best of 7, we could have seen Matt come back in like rested after 3 games. Get his shit together. Right?
It's okay, Matt.
Go team!
Especially like because
We were heating
the
up.
other team would be getting tired too, right? And especially,
I
Matt's a
said we were heating up.
big time player on our team as well.
Yeah, heating up after game 3, game 4, like we were on fire. And then game 5, like sure we had a slip and we ended up losing the game, but I still think we had the momentum after that game.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
come game 6, we could have won that, and then it would have been game 7. That's
I would have
just-
actually loved to see one more game from you guys.
Yeah, it would have been.
It was kind of cool though because like we moved it to the court to closer to bleachers, so that gave more opportunity for the guys on bleachers to watch everything. That was pretty cool. I'm so glad I didn't keep it on the other side.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, because that was one of the reasons why I didn't come and watch you guys playing CDL versus CDL, because like there was so many people that it was a wall. Like I'm short, I can't see. So like Ratel's filming, I'll catch it later. But as it just kept
there was
getting
space
louder.
on the other side. I was there by myself.
I'd have to run over there, and I'd have to squish through people to even get onto the courts. Like I had to hell with it.
Yeah, and I get that it was a time management decision that I was getting close to the end of the day.
Right.
But much to your 2 points, I should have started off being conservative when it came to time management instead of oh fuck.
Well,
let's
that 2 hour
change
gap
it.
too, right? Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what the happened was because I got
Well, it
late,
was
but
I'll clarify with that. It was a 2 hour gap between when our team played. But there were games that happened within that time.
Right,
frame
depending
that
on
were
your
actually-
seating, yeah, because our
Yeah,
seating
'cause I
was
think-
like the one where we waited for a really long
yeah,
time.
they said
because
like,
we were all at
within
the
2 hours.
bottom.
I was
And
like,
that's where we were too. We were at the bottom as well. Like our teams were in the same boat with that. Like we just had the disadvantage of not having that second half of the first part of the day. But yeah, no, there was probably only about a 30 to 40 minute gap. But even still, that could have been something where something.
10 minutes, 2 games.
Well, I thought it's sort of weird because like the competitive side had more schedules, but our side finished early. So what do? Like, sure, okay, it's fine we had rest, but like I felt like we could have played more games,
Yep.
or at least scheduled something else for us to do.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and even with along those lines, like why we finished, I think later is that there were times where the second court wasn't being used, and that was early on in the bracket. Where I turned to Reese and I'm like, aren't you guys playing? Like, we don't know. And like people were just kind of dawdling about on the second court, and there was no one pushing teams to play.
Second court as in like the entrance side?
On the side that the competitive division was on, the second court in the back where the CDL game happened, there were times where there was nothing happening. And that was early on. It wasn't after we got down to like 4 teams. It was at the beginning when they were still doing the elimination stuff.
Did that make it so spectating was like more intense though for the one court that was playing?
I don't think if that was the rationale for it, I think that would be poor, because if you're already in a position where you're looking at about 4 o'clock when you get that stuff going, and you have 2 hours to get through that many games, I get the experience side of things, but then it should have been best of 5. If you're going to go it that way.
Okay.
And that seems like a really simple observation and conclusion to reach.
Well, yeah, even weirder was like the other side of the gym. Like I think there were some people up in the bleachers that weren't there for dodgeball. Like it was like there was no one over on that side of the gym, just hanging out. We're just
we had to play
just some
2
stray
sets.
dogs wandered in.
Yeah, we had to play 2 sets on the other side of the gym, and there was nobody there. Which I mean, there's no pressure. It's like.
Yeah, no pressure. Kind of
We
weird.
could have just left and nobody would have known.
We're supposed
we
to
lost.
they got knocked out.
You could like flip the coin. If you guys played like
we could have.
flip the coin. We won.
Yeah, we went out for ice cream instead. Just rock paper scissors.
All the teams came out. Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
ice cream social.
Hey, next time ice cream.
I thought about that. I was like, I could really go for Menchie's.
I was thinking
like,
Menchie's too.
Menchie's is good. But yeah, let's so Bananas won.
Yep.
Let's go back to our predictions from last week. Enzo, we'll pretend you made some.
Yeah.
So Nathan went with definitely the safe pick and got Bananas. Please don't push over the water. You chose Bananas, and your dark horse was
The Contis.
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 You chose
Spartans,
Spartans.
dark horse,
You
boys
guys.
to women.
And we both chose Recess.
Yeah.
And I think we both chose the same dark horse of Edmonton, or did
Yeah.
you chose? Yeah.
But the thing is, Edmonton. I was talking to one of the guys, like, if they had more time, I felt like they could really done well.
That's what they're saying.
Their stamina was amazing. I was tired. Okay,
Yeah.
three games. I was like, okay, guys, Einer, go. I'll just sit here in the corner.
Well, that's what they said. They
Alright.
kept saying like these games are so fast. Like, so like I guess I don't know that we just conditioned ourselves to be like, go as fast as you can for 30 seconds, and that's the game.
Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to compare it like as a hockey game compared to like a soccer game. Whereas hockey, like if you're on the court, you're going for like that 40 seconds and then you're
Yeah.
off. Whereas soccer, you're playing a full 90-minute game. You have to be able to pace yourself. You can't just like go gung ho for 10 minutes and then you're tired and get sent off, right?
Yeah, because at
That's
the top
the way I
level,
was-
top level you only get 3 substitutions in soccer.
Yeah, you have max 3.
Whereas in
that's
hockey, you can roll through your lineup the whole time.
Right.
So that's what
You even have a
Soccer.
backup goalie in hockey.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely agree. Like you saw, like when you watch them play, the catches they're making, the athleticism. Like, did you guys by any chance see the almost catch that Paul had when he dodged a whole bunch and like popped up and a ball came right in and he just barely missed squeezing squeezing
I think
it.
so, yeah.
I think I was watching that.
Those guys have
That was
really good
ridiculous.
eye coordination too.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they know how to track way better. I feel like than a lot of VDL people.
Well, and I think that's the result of the balls they use.
Yeah.
Because the rubber balls they use, I think we all got a chance to play around with them a little bit just to see what they're like. They spin more. So they
okay.
move more through the air. And if you look at our foam balls, they don't move as much as those rubber balls do.
We really have to exaggerate when we
Yeah.
gotta really snap it to make it
Yeah.
curve properly.
Did you guys see any with those balls? Did you see any top spin with them though?
Yeah.
Because I didn't. All I saw was
crazy.
like backspin that was curving the wrong way, but like I couldn't. I tried throwing topspin and it would just go the wrong direction completely.
Yeah, I saw it a little bit when I saw Mike throwing it. There was a bit of it, but it's definitely something that, much like our dodgeballs, it comes with time. You know, because we all couldn't throw topspin when we started.
No, yeah, it took like 5 years.
Yeah, like I was the only one doing it and feel like, how are you doing that?
And you wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
I was throwing for like 40 for the first 5 seasons I started playing.
Yeah, ends up to
and then
45
something,
now.
yeah, something clicks and now I'm throwing 55
Watch
on a
out.
good day.
10 more years, 57.
Diminishing returns. Yeah.
So if you go in boxing, you got the height, you'll learn how to throw a lot faster. Because it learns how to do the body rotations.
Right.
For me, that's the same
That
way.
was interesting because
Yeah.
you've said the punching, like
Yeah.
you throw like a punch, like you think
So
about
like
it
every
a
time I
punch.
do straight up like
I'll back
haymaker,
up.
I won't do it like this. It's the same way
Every
I
time I
would throw.
punch people-
right? My
It's
body
all-
rotation
it's all
is the same
weight
way.
transfer, right?
Yeah.
So is that? Do you think that is a lot with your like left shoulder like leading you like?
I think it's just more of my obliques.
Yeah.
Weird.
More
Okay,
advanced.
that's interesting.
Because the fastest I've thrown was 67, 68.
Okay.
And that was at the top when I was boxing like every day.
Yeah. That's
So-
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
for me.
it's all technique and,
Yeah.
and weight transfer, right? Like, there's some pretty skinny, scrawny guys that throw really hard. Like,
Rogan.
yeah, like Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, another one to mention is Jackie. Jackie throws really hard, and he's like, he's
Well.
shorter.
Yeah.
And he's a stick, but he
Yeah.
throws absurdly hard.
And a
Wait,
lot-
Jackie Leung?
Yeah.
Yeah. And along that line for the ladies, Giselle throws ridiculously
Yeah.
Right.
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like Giselle's 10 pounds soaking wet. But she throws very, very hard. And it was too bad actually. That was two other people that we didn't see this weekend. Giselle and Titus.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
There's
that's
a,
true,
there's
yeah,
a bunch of people that was missing.
Yeah.
Alvin as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, David didn't make an appearance.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that, in hindsight, you're kind of like, oh, damn. You know, really wish they would have been able to come out and play in
Yeah,
this.
Donald showed up, but he didn't play.
Oh, Donald doesn't give a shit anymore. Donald was like, yeah, cool.
He's just lifting.
Yeah, he's lifting. No stamina, no cardio here, boys.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, it was something that, like, definitely, when we started going through that, and that was something I was going to talk about too, or ask you guys about. VDL contributed 7 teams to the competitive division, and I believe 3 or 4 teams to the open division.
I think so, yeah.
So that's 11 teams. So 11 teams from a typically 180 plus league. That's not a lot.
Do you feel like it's probably just scheduling wise, or because it is like a month after somewhat last playoffs?
Yeah, it could be scheduling wise. Everybody was kind of rusty, and
Oh, yeah.
everybody's.
Yeah, we just got off the like break between seasons.
Right. Also, it was kind of on short notice. Like I
Yeah.
heard about the tournament months in advance, but no official word.
Yeah, was there like a site or a page? Like I don't.
No.
There was nothing, right?
No.
So it was all word of mouth.
Yeah, it was a hearsay
It
until
really-
and nobody could confirm or deny it until.
I kept on saying it's happening. It was
Right.
the division director. I remember actually we were together when this happened.
Yeah,
The division
yeah.
director was like, "I can't talk about this."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You know it's real. Just tell him it's real." You
Yeah,
know?
like, I mean, it would've been
Enzo's right
nice.
there. He wants to be a part
Yeah,
of this.
like at that point I wasn't the champion yet, but I could have been.
But yeah, no, that was something that I think because VDL is so large, the word has to get out sooner. Much like JRF, when we hear the complaint about, oh, there's not a lot of teams in this thing. It's like, you didn't tell anybody. You really didn't tell anybody, and it's totally fine to give people multiple events to look forward to. Especially if this tournament moves to the summer, which it could at some point, it might even be easier. People
Going to Edmonton.
Yeah, going to Edmonton. Definitely not going there in January. But you got to give people notice so they can get that time off and book for it. And when we do go to Calgary and Edmonton for tournaments, whether it be ToC or other tournaments, we need to know about these things. You know, we need to be able to book around that and schedule for it.
You know, get days off of work.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, at the very least. At the very least.
yeah, Nathan.
What?
But yeah, like that was something that was surprising. I think that like CDL knew about it, and they started like I got told in a car that I was on a team. I think at the beginning of October or the end of September, one of the two. But like CDL knew about it, they were talking about it. SDL is talking about it amongst in their league. But I didn't see those conversations happening in VDL and RDL. I don't think there was an open division team from RDL.
No, there was. Warren.
Oh, fantastic!
Val, one of the girls, Marigold, Sarah, which is Marigold's friend, and I forgot someone else. But yeah, it was just Warren and a bunch of like 4 or 5 girls.
So and even with that team, like that's that's an exec team. You know, that's both RDL and VDL.
Yeah.
So there wasn't an RDL like non-affiliated team, a non-exec affiliated team coming in from RDL, and it's something that, like, you know, how did we change this? Like, how does that get changed?
I don't think it was announced at all during the weeks of VDL season play. So I mean, the execs didn't.
When was it known? Like when
the discussion's been happening for a while. I was like I mentioned, like I got told about this at either the end of September or the beginning of October.
But I think officially I was told.
I registered December 10th.
Yeah, it was after.
I'm pretty sure I registered pretty quickly.
Yeah, in between.
So it was pretty much just after that it was announced, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't.
Before that.
And that's totally an internal issue with VDL in terms of getting that message out, because now we have 3 events, 3 big tournaments where teams are supposedly coming in from other areas, where the news hasn't gotten out in a time for more people to be a part of it. And I don't think it's necessarily a reflection of disengagement, but I think it's just you have to give your marketing team an opportunity. And if they're not given all that information to do something, they can only do so much. And I really do think that the VDL marketing team did as well as they could have in the circumstances. And if, like, Jinno knows that if I didn't think otherwise, I'd say otherwise. You know, but I do think VDL marketing did as good of a job as they possibly could have. And I think that VDL marketing in the last season and a bit has really stepped up their game. So now it becomes, how do you get those teams that aren't connected to somebody who's an executive to come out to these events?
This is a good thing as any. You get a podcast going, you get a lot of people to show up, and then there's like at least more word of mouth than there was before.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe we'll see Toronto.
Maybe we'll see Toronto, possibly even Hamilton. Steel Town.
Get some California teams out there too. That'd be fun.
Yeah, Cali has Los Angeles has like 3 or 4 leagues going on.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. No, and I should say, like, I would love to see this tournament continue and get bigger, and also have players showing up from the leagues we play in that we don't necessarily recognize. You know, even if they're in the open division.
Right.
And speaking of the open division, Jinno, you were in the open division all day. How'd that go?
Honestly, like I kept myself fairly busy every time I was off. Like I had to take pictures because, you know, like it's a big tournament. I feel like I should take pictures. I want everybody to show like what good time everybody has. The times we played, it was amazing. It was, like I said at the beginning, it was great seeing all these guys come in, play our style, no matter what it is, right? From where they came from. There was really hard teams. Alcoholics came out of nowhere, like destroyed my team. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. No, but they came out of nowhere. We didn't know who they were because I've never played down at SDL at all. I don't think neither has my team, but Alcoholics came up to finals against Average Joes, and Average Joes beat them. But like even then, like when I watch these games, like these guys are actually really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure if we underestimate them, but just like, I'm not sure if the break had a factor in it too, but like these guys were just taking us out one by one. And did well. Like I was happy it wasn't a VDL versus VDL, even though I wanted to be VDL. Like I want to be in the finals, but I know
Jinno wants to go.
Yeah. My team was a little bit choked. I was too at that point, but like you just got to learn to accept it, right? But yeah, I'm glad it wasn't a VDL versus VDL, and it was good times.
Yeah, no, like I've played against Alcoholics in Surrey, and definitely they're a team. They, as Miles from their team said to me, I think at the qualifier for them, or actually maybe been dropped in this past week, but Alcoholics in particular, the sum of their parts is greater than the individual parts, and they do play better than what you would say necessarily put down on paper. So yeah, no, I was really happy that they made it to the final. and that they gave Average Joe's a run for their money. Average Joe's had Angie and Clara subbing for them on the female side of things. So those two very good players already. Joining a solid cast that includes Mark Tan, Simon, and Christopher Chia, as he's known on Facebook.
He made a catch. I was like, Chia made a catch with a ball in his hand. I'm like, this is not Chia. Who is this guy? It's like he brought in Wilson.
Wilson doesn't catch either.
Wilson catches in playoffs. I'll give it to him. I've seen a good ones.
Speaking of catching, Kevin Young made a catch.
What?
A couple?
Oh,
couple?
yeah.
He made
Like
a
the drop
drop
down
catch.
catches.
He dropped down?
Yeah.
Dropped down and made a catch on our team, and at that point we might as well have quit. Like,
I think it brought back Brandon. Too,
yeah,
didn't
it was
But
sick.
then Brandon got knocked out like right away.
Yeah, but
did
that's not the point. The point is Kevin Young made a catch.
Brandon wasted it.
While dropping to his knees.
Exactly.
Like, I know he's always worn the knee pads,
Yeah.
but he's never used them.
They're
Never.
probably still brand new.
Yeah, he's had the same one since he started.
You know what the funny thing is with Kevin, when you tell him like, good catch, Kevin, he's like, oh my god, you guys are so nice. Like, he's really,
Oh yeah,
that's a perfect impression. Like,
Like, he came up to me, he's like, "Oh, you guys said really nice things about me on the podcast." And I was like, "Well, yeah,
Should we not?
yeah. We'll talk trash about you if you
the
make
thing
it
is,
feel better."
he is one of those other people like I think I'm using the right word, undersells himself a lot.
Oh yeah,
Oh, by
But
that's a really common trait
Yeah.
in VDL. I think a lot of them are like, "Oh, no,
yeah.
Humble.
But honestly, like, you know what?
fuck humbleness."
He's
Whatever.
he's up there now. Like, everybody knows his name. Kevin, he throws hard, but does he catch this? Yeah, he'll catch when it counts.
Yeah, he drops to his knees now.
Well, it was against in season 18. He made that winning catch against. Forgot which
That was
team it
last
was.
season, 19.
No, it was 2 seasons ago.
It was when he was playing with
Brandon,
What?
Malika.
Yeah, What?
yeah.
It was 19.
And it was it would have been 19. And they threw it, and it was just like out of nowhere. Kevin just goes poof, like this, and it was just like, oh, it's still here. But yeah, like that was something I remember going into the season. It's like, oh, I really hope they can help me win a championship. I'm like, no, you fucking earned this.
Yeah.
Like you really did. Like yeah, absolutely, you're playing with great players, but you weren't out of place.
Yeah.
Like you really were on that team. You really were a member of that team.
I feel like he could probably fill in for a Spartan or two.
He is a Spartan.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
He fits that style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except now he drops to his knees, and I
Right.
can't play on Spartans.
No, not even.
Stop that and go play on Spartans.
Like when we play on Panda Power, it was the game is protect Kevin. If he doesn't have a ball, you give him a ball. Like everybody can kind of do things without a ball. Kevin really can't. That's why he's like, you give him a ball and he'll kill everybody for you, right? Like it's just that's what it is, right?
That's one thing.
That's
one
a
team I wanna
style,
see.
right? Like
One team should come back. Panda Power.
Yeah, you guys coming back now? That'd be a pretty
in
gross
time.
team.
Yeah, I was about to say, aren't you playing with Chocolate Factory in the
I
near
am
future?
playing with Chocolate Factory in the
Really?
near future.
Woo.
Yes.
My.
That'll be interesting.
That's close. That's basically
That's
it.
close, yeah.
It's close, but
Do you have the hair to match Kevin's?
I will
Oh.
grow it out. No, I won't.
Okay.
damn.
Now you just got us
Yeah.
sad. Like, what
Yeah.
the? All right.
So, but yeah, no, it was great. So
One thing to make clear,
Oh, yeah.
they wanted to let everybody know that Chocolate Factory does not have the same hairstyle throughout all the
true,
four
it's
guys.
true.
They all have varying lengths of hair, and it really bothers them. So let's just get that out of the way.
Well, I never thought Ian had the same haircut as the rest of them, but the other three definitely do, just a different length.
They're similar. They're not the same.
David's
No.
hair is pretty amazing.
We're trying to make them feel bad.
But anyways,
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed the point.
So, for the Tournament Champions, MVPs, like for the dudes, we'll start with the guys first. Who do we think was the MVP of that final?
The final? Like the
Yeah,
final.
we'll only go with final. We won't go through it because we didn't see everybody all
I'll
the
give
time.
it to Nate big time. That was a gross performance. I mean, we didn't
Yeah,
win,
it was
but like just
disgusting.
Yeah.
like
Sorry.
just you should take a shower.
Yeah, your play was repugnant.
don't catch me in, catch other people in. We'll do better.
I thought Victor Liu. He did a lot of things.
It's the Victor Liu remix again.
Yeah, well, he didn't make a ton of catches, but he put on a ton of pressure.
Yeah, his pressure on me on the right side, that was one thing that
Right.
where it was wearing me down mentally. Like I didn't feel like I could throw at any point, and every time I did, I would get hit in the foot. Even when I'm like, I know I'm gonna get hit in the foot, so I'm gonna try and compensate and still get hit in the foot. It's like, all right, I'm useless here right now.
Yeah, and Kevin Chung and I had to switch spots because he was in Kevin's head, and he's like,
Oh shit.
yeah.
I'm gonna
I don't
argue
want to play
Shane.
with the ball.
Unlike
you
this guy.
you deal with Victor. And, yeah.
I'm gonna say Shane was my MVP from what I saw, just the way he was playing against maybe me personally, but even I think he was the one that was in your head,
he
right?
hit me out every game.
So that's why Matt
Wait,
stepped up
which
because
which
of Shane.
Shane?
The one in the
Babu.
finals.
Okay,
Babu.
just making sure.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other one.
There's another Shane.
Subbed in.
So Silverberg didn't make
No,
it.
wait,
For
we're
those
talking
who
about
don't know.
finals.
But okay, finals. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Shane stepped up. He made a catch on me, and I think he made a couple other catches as well. But yeah, Shane got in a couple of our heads and threw us off a little bit.
For sure.
So I would put Shane as my personal MVP.
I'll probably go with Victor as well. I thought Victor played solidly the entire day. In the final, like he said, he put a lot of pressure on. Like he does a lot of those little things that create opportunities for his teammates. Much in the same way that Jay Vu does the same thing too. Like Jay Vu takes up a lot of attention, but like Victor was pushing people back just by moving forward.
Yeah. And you know what's dangerous about those guys is that they'll put themselves in danger all the
Yeah.
time because they can pull it off still. So it's like
Yeah.
you're playing against a normal person, they won't do that. You're playing against one of them and they're doing that like, well, now I have to back up or now I have to eat a catch or eat like make a bad throw or something.
Exactly, and it was something that like Victor with his hair, like on point, hair MVP Victor.
Hair game.
His hair game was on.
Have
point.
you seen Kevin's hair? Have you seen it?
I've seen
Best
that.
hair in dodgeball.
I have seen that Kevin wears something to keep his hair out of his eyes. Victor does not.
Well, fine. I want to make a stipulation like that.
Kevin, you know how to win best hair now.
Yeah, exactly. Don't fuck it up. But yeah, no. Overall, I thought Victor had just had a great day from beginning to
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah,
and I
sure.
think that the final was just kind of the cherry on top.
Well, it's a known quantity for me at this point. Like Victor, like I couldn't say enough nice things about the way he plays on the court, but
And he's such a pleasant human being.
Yeah.
Lovely gentleman. But yeah, no, I agree. So I thought there was a lot of people who played really well in the final. So it
Yeah.
didn't really unnecessarily make our decision easy at all. So let's move on to the ladies. We had 4 ladies in the final.
Monica.
Monica.
Monica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy played really well too. Like I would argue her as a close second in my opinion,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I put Monica over top.
Yeah. Yeah, the guys totally shat the bed and we were carried by far
That's true.
from the girls throughout the whole tournament. Yeah, we
wasn't
had
that
no,
our first game ever? Wasn't that we all got knocked out?
yeah,
and they had to win
we
the game for
we
it?
had no business being in the finals without Monica and Nancy.
Well, the thing I was watching too is like even like I was trying to step out of the team for a little bit. And I'm like, when there's 4 people playing against Monica and Nancy, it's like, shit, we still have to get these 2 people out. Not only can they catch, they can throw too. Nancy throws very accurately at people's toes, and Monica can just throw like the hardest
Crazy.
girl in VDL, I'm assuming. So
Yeah.
She is.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're definitely girls that are hard to deal with.
Yeah. I'll go against you guys. Well, I'll choose someone different. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. I'm going to go with Carolyn.
Boo.
Shut up. But Carolyn
That's the
just...
easy choice.
We're making it difficult. It's like why Coop never got MVP for anything. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's Cooper. Oh, he played well again. Oh, fuck him.
Again.
We're
Yeah.
gonna need somebody else. But no, I think Carolyn just... Yeah, like it is easy at this point to say, like she did her thing. But her thing is so fucking good.
Yeah. It's savage. It's psychological warfare. Like, it's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah, absolutely. She just... Yes, it's so hard to describe it because it's expected at this point. Like, she's going to make a catch.
Yep.
She'll make a hit. She'll cover people. Like, she'll come out of nowhere to make a play. Like as you guys said earlier, fuck, it's Carolyn. But yeah, like that's just in it. Plays into it. And on that note, that was Carolyn's last time playing dodgeball.
Yep.
She has retired.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolyn went out a champion.
All right. Okay.
So,
We gave it to her. It's okay.
all right. Yeah.
We still got time to go
to make up for it.
to go out as
We
champion.
gave it to her.
Yeah. So,
Whatever.
behalf on everybody here, Carolyn, congratulations. Good luck in retirement. Say hello to the Jeet and all the best.
Yeah.
So overall, like, just a great final. It was really good. People were entertained. They were very engaged, and I'm really excited to see what happens with ToC moving forward. With that, we'll actually hop on that subject first before I hop into other ones. Do we want the tournament to stay in Vancouver, or do we want it to be going to different leagues that are associated now with Tournament of Champions?
I want it going elsewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going.
Growing up, I've always played soccer. I've had to go, like, I played in Vegas, I've played in Alberta, I've played, like, all around, and it's always fun traveling as a team, because I feel like there's a lot of time to bond. And then not only that, you get to see new places, you get to see new faces.
Calgary.
Edmonton in the summer.
Only in the summer.
Only in the summer.
But yeah, I would love to go travel with my friends and grab an Airbnb
You have
and get wasted.
friends?
I have a couple.
Okay. Just making sure.
I have to pay a couple of them, but
Trying to
Yeah.
they're still they play.
He's like, hello Nathan. Oh my god. That's 3 now.
Can you do something for me? Fuck. Only 2.
I was this close.
But yeah, I want to go. I like traveling with friends and playing sports and getting bondage time.
That's pretty cool. Like, especially when we changed to their rules too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Edmonton's rule, we gotta play for what, a full hour and then see where we die.
I don't know what the tournament's gonna do. They might
So-
compensate, give us 20 minutes.
We'll have
Bring
12 people
oxygen tanks.
Yeah, we'll have 12 people rosters. We'll line
Rotate
changes.
Okay, who's not tired? You seem to be. You're squatting. I think you can play.
Yeah,
I think
remember,
Gino stopped breathing. He'll stay off. All right, everyone else.
Yeah, I remember like
We'll
halfway,
deal with it after.
halfway through the playoffs, our team was already like dibs first and fourth sit, just because we gotta pace ourselves.
Is it me, please? Come on, let's go.
Yeah. So, but that'd be really cool to use Edmonton's rules, and it's something that for those of you who saw the boss playoffs, I don't know if you picked up on this, but they had lines on the walls going up. So their sidelines extended all the way up the wall
okay.
to 6 feet.
Well, BDL has that too.
Yeah,
It's
we
just
do
there's
have
no
that.
But we
line
don't
there.
mark.
But there's no.
Technically,
It's
there's no
unspoken
rule.
though.
No, if
No,
you,
no,
if
it-
you reach outside of that line and touch the wall outside
that now
the line,
a rule?
you're out.
It's-
yeah.
it's
Is it
always-
official? Is it in the rule
I-
book though?
well,
That's what I'm trying to say.
Because that's
Well,
the thing.
Stella's the one that first showed that to me, and I'd never thought of that before. Stella with an A, and
Okay.
Stella with an A.
Stella.
Stella, whatever.
Stella.
And that I didn't understand it at first. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't know what the rule is. But yeah, that's it's apparently
Yeah,
a
'cause
rule.
I think it's still vague. I don't think it's actually specifically
Yeah.
stated in the rules. I think it's just a common interpretation.
Nice.
And there's a few other rules that are like that as well, where it's everyone just understands it to be a certain way. But Boss goes out of his way to tape up the wall.
Probably a good call if it's going
Yeah.
to be a rule. Then
Yeah.
Well,
And if you
logically-
put tape there, it doesn't matter if it's in the rule or not. They go, oh, it's a sideline.
yeah.
It becomes a
Logically,
sideline.
if you think about it, we do play with silence, right? Like, but the rule is if you put pressure on the other side of the line, you're out. But if
Yeah.
logically, if you think about it, but we haven't done it, put the line up. If
Yeah.
you do the same thing, you should be out. But
Yeah.
no one really second thinks that. They're like, oh, they're fine, they're safe. So
It's hard because I touch outside of that line all the time when I'm like falling back for a catch
Well,
or a
exactly.
dodge
if you,
or something.
If you do a catch like this and you're on
Yeah.
that side, that elbow definitely is going out, but no one calls it. So that would change that kind of a play. It becomes a dodge and a sweep versus an attempted catch. Hey, Hauser. Meow.
Along with that again, like there's a playoff I played a while ago and I made a catch, but I was like almost across the line. But the ref called me safe because she was like looking beyond her peripheral just to make sure I didn't cross that line.
Yeah.
So definitely there are refs that know that, but then
Yeah.
again, they should be more enforced, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I guess we're all on the same page. We love to see his tournament move from city
Oh,
to
definitely.
city.
Well, could you imagine just like, even from like a professional sports perspective, like, okay, say dodgeball were a professional sport and even you got paid for it or whatever, it was what you did.
Yeah.
To go to another town to do the thing you do, like, that's kind of a really cool
absolutely.
feeling. And especially with dodgeball, because if it's competitive sports like the NHL or something, you're there to compete and it's kind of like, but like with dodgeball, it's like a self-ref sport largely, so you don't get that same exact, so that'd be really cool to go to another town and just like have everyone
Yeah, it's
be
really community driven, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's something you experience more so
For sure. No,
than the
it,
competition.
yeah, it would be great. And along those lines, we'll hop into some hot topics from the tournament that came up. We'll start off with high throws and headshots. There were a significant number of high throws. And as much as some people would just call themselves out when they would hit somebody in the face and walk off, that doesn't excuse what was happening. And as we saw in the final, Monica got knocked over. She was on the ground for a while from another headshot. And as we saw most recently at VDL playoffs at Wednesday, we had a girl knocked out from a high throw.
Another Monica.
Yeah, another Monica. It's in the name. It's in the name.
Cares.
Do we think this is something that needs to be addressed? Or is this something
Yes,
that...
that's the easy answer.
Yes is the easy answer, and that's always why there's a follow-up. And it's like, how do you address this?
I forgot who I was talking to last night.
I think I was talking with you, weren't we?
We were talking to somebody else from another league. They said headshots are illegal and you get to sit out right away.
In
I think that's
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially,
They have an April rule too, I think.
there's another league that does that too. That in Edmonton, it's a bigger league supposedly. Like even if it's here,
Yeah.
you sit out right away. Even though you didn't touch the face, like you're instantly out.
Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be some sort of like intent gauge at that point. Like, did you intend to do a shot like that? Like sometimes
You could just
Is
say,
it-
"Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't."
Yeah.
mean to."
no, you don't ask them, but like you just get the refs to be like that had intent. Like you can see in body language, like why'd you uncork that one? Like that's clearly not the throw you should have done at that point if you didn't want to hit someone in the face.
Would consistency be a better way of approaching it? Someone who's
It means someone's going to have to
continuing
get hit in the face a couple times until something happens. I personally, I don't really have either way. I don't really know how to go, so
Just turn to Victoria and get a hit in the face. It's legal. Like it doesn't count as a hit. Headshots or no hits.
And along those lines, almost all the leagues out here have policies governing the number of headshots generally. Too many headshots and you get sat. Is that something that needs to be necessarily enforced more?
maybe
And-
more often.
I
yeah.
think so.
And
Yeah.
more specifically, at playoffs.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of these things kind of go out the window. And you always hear the argument during, say, NHL playoffs, oh, they only got 1 game instead of 4. That would have been 4 during the season. To me, like, I don't understand what the difference is. Especially, once again, in a community-based league, why is there a difference? I know these are hard questions I'm putting to you guys.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if there's a good way around it because like the sport is throw this thing at someone. Like the whole
Exactly.
thing about that, it's like it's borderline you're in a fight with someone and it's a foam ball, but like why Nathan? Why Nathan?
Yes! Yes! Oh!
He knows.
I think the important thing is to just kind of when newer players get into the league, you emphasize that throwing as hard as you can is not that important.
Yeah.
That's hard to do though, because like you can compare it to golf. It's like when people go golfing, you swing that
Right.
club as hard as you can because it's gonna go farther, but you're just gonna shank that like into the bushes.
Right,
But,
and then using that golf comparison, then they go, "Oh, I don't swing it as hard as I can," and then it starts going
exactly.
straight.
So,
Right.
But that comes
that's why
into
it's
what
hard to
Enzo is
say.
saying.
I mean, like there are a ton of players that don't throw super hard, and they're like really good players. Like, and then there are a bunch of pretty not so good players that throw pretty hard. Like I don't know. It's I guess appeal of throwing hard and I don't know accuracy is where it's at.
Well, we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should learn how to throw accuracy first before anything. Speed comes after. If you want to throw harder, get accuracy first because that way you're not going to be hitting people in the face.
Well, you guys know how it goes, though, right? There's a little peacocking involved. When you get a hard
Oh, yeah.
throw, you want to
Yeah.
just be like, check it
No,
out, check it out.
no, I remember like very clearly that Brandon when Panda Power was new, he said the most important thing is to throw accurately. It doesn't matter if you can throw 50, 60, 70 miles an hour if you can't hit shit. And yeah, it's totally true, right? Like, it's also much more satisfying to hit somebody's toes.
Yeah.
I guess after you start playing, it's just
Especially when their hands are like right out here.
You feel so good when you hit somebody's toes and they're just like,
And they go to block and they totally miss it.
Yeah.
Like, haha.
Sit out the 3 games, you're
Yeah,
psychologically traumatized.
Yeah. So along those lines, when players have been around for a while, who's accountable at that point? Because that's one of those things we're not seeing. In say Tournament of Champions, there weren't a lot of
Right.
new players of the game playing, and yet we still had a number of high throws and head shots.
Could you argue that people were rusty though because
It's a little bit of that.
played in a month or two?
I would say
I was
that-
throwing
what
real
about,
high when
like-
I was playing against Richmond?
I would have said that but was Richmond your first series?
Yes.
So
Yeah, and
but
you
did it
threw
get
hard.
better as it went along?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with no. But
I think yeah.
but along those lines, like absolutely. Russ will play a point. Will play a part, but not after 4 hours. If you've been playing dodgeball for most of the day, that
Yeah.
rustiness should go away. And not everyone has been off for a month, a month and a half. Some people have been playing the whole way through with tournaments and drop-ins. So it's something that it's a difficult thing. It's always difficult to address when it comes to headshots. There's policies in place. It's how do you enforce it? And I think that's probably the side of things that a lot of people need to address. Richmond has that policy now where I think it's 3 headshots, and you're up for a game.
It's 3
or
warnings.
series.
It's not even headshots. You could just miss someone and it's like you're through dangerously. That's 1 warning.
yeah, that's
I
fair.
think second warning you sit a few games.
Yeah.
I thought it was 3.
And then it might be 3 and you're done.
And
for
then
the night.
the third warning is you're just done. Like
Absolutely.
I really like that. I really
Yeah, I
appreciate
like
it.
So that's a good way to approach it.
I think so. And they have the thing is when you address those things, you really have to enforce it because be like, oh, I don't know if that's a warning. Like
Yeah. No,
that's kind of like
and
a
I think-
half warning. I won't count
I think
it.
Richmond does really well is they really enforce their rules. Like somebody didn't sign their waiver, they get kicked out. Like
Fucking James.
for sure. Like
Regardless of veteran status.
yeah, regardless of status too. I mean, we had a
James
past
and Travis.
VDL
We're naming
division
both of them.
past VDL division director not signed the waiver. He got turned down at the door. It doesn't matter if they're a close friend of the division director didn't sign their waiver, gets denied too.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that needs to be more consistent, especially with waivers. But yeah, no, I love the way RDL enforces their policies, and they're becoming more and more refined and more and more diligent with it, with each even passing week.
Right.
It gets better as it moves forward, and that's something that other leagues maybe should take a look at.
Let me be devil's advocate here for a
Absolutely.
second. I remember
I was
when
waiting
I was
for it. I saw you looking.
in grade 6, Mr. Grant. We would do Mr. Grant dodgeball, and
I'll
he would
go
go
with that.
he would go into the supply room, and he wouldn't just bring out the rubber balls. He brought out basketballs. He brought out the little like.
How is this
it wasn't
devil's
like
advocate? So
he
we
said-
put more violent things.
Yes. So there's people out there that like, when they're hearing us talk about this, there's people that do throw high or they play competitive, and they're like, what's your problem, guys? Like, this is, if you don't want to get hurt, don't play. That's kind of how they think. And there's a bit of that you have to take into consideration because the sport is, it's throwing something at someone, and it's like there's a window. You can't guarantee you're not going to hit someone in the head all the time.
Yeah.
So the one thing for me, the one equalizer is like, do they look like they're sorry after they hit someone in the face? Like, if they don't, then like, well, you're an asshole. Like, that's what I don't like that. And so that's the one thing from my perspective is like, if you don't apologize after, like, and it's
We'll
kind
call
of
it
a
asshole
gross
rule.
one.
Yeah,
Like
asshole
you
rule.
don't apologize, that we'll take it as you kind of intended to.
Okay,
throw at
playoffs
them.
roll around. All of the known assholes, have to stand up in front of the gym and
They get-
I don't know,
they
do some sort of
pelted.
public shaming or
They
something.
wear a special shirt. I'm an asshole.
No, that's something they want. Walking through the city going, shame, shame, shame. But, along those lines, I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, absolutely. And headshots are allowed. And I have no problem with headshots being a legal part of the game. I guess for me, my perspective comes from the gap between my understanding of headshots being legal and what's in the league policies and code of conduct.
point.
And for me, if that language isn't there, I have no problem. But that language is there. Those directives are there. Those actionable items are present. They are in the power of the in-gym executives, be them league coordinators or otherwise, to follow through with them. So it's more a matter of just enforcing what's already there.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I've only ever seen one person get kicked out for high throws, and he gave Rogan a bloody lip with one of his throws, and that was after like 5 headshots. It's like, all right, and that was the only time I've seen someone get kicked out. If more people got kicked out, you might actually see someone be like, it's not really worth throwing that, like especially during league night. Like this is not really worth plunking someone in the face for a hit.
Exactly.
No, I was just saying, start with consistency, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always going to be one of those hard things to discuss, especially when you still have a level of competition to it. There's a competitiveness to what we do. And you get caught up in the moment. Those things happen, but those should be the exception more so than us going, oh, it's happening again.
Sorry to interrupt, but I do have to leave.
All right.
So
Enzo,
catch you all later.
have a lovely evening, sir. We'll watch you walk out the door. But yeah.
Coming, Enzo.
Man, you took up a lot of the couch here. Oh yeah.
See you later.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. Reffing and self-reffing. This is something that comes up pretty much every playoff, it seems like. Either this person got hit and they didn't go out, or I can't believe they missed that call, or they got that call wrong. How did we, or I guess what a good way of putting it is, what did we think of both of those things this past weekend?
Reffing, definitely, there was a lot of missed calls, especially with VDL rules, we don't do resets, right? There was a lot of that I saw, and then that were not called. High throws were not called above 6 feet. This is by observation, sitting on sideline and playing against it. I'm like, the ball hit me, or the ball hit all the way over there. No one's gonna. Okay, whatever. You know what? Whatever. I'm not gonna argue because the thing is, we're told this is a pure ref game, so we should not argue, but let it go. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But
We can talk about it now, though.
yeah,
God damn it.
On our platform.
yeah, like,
This is our platform.
Yeah, those things are delicious.
yeah, really good.
God damn.
But yeah, like, I wish we had that ball because it's obviously outside the rule. Like, no one's gonna give it back to us. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't stand there argue because no matter what, if I argue more, I'm gonna get hit. Right? So
And along those lines, as soon as you argue, you immediately look like the bad guy.
yeah,
Which is it's always the hardest thing. Like when you're playing honestly and you see someone else when they're not, it gets to the point where you say something, immediately the focus changes to you.
Yeah.
Instead of what's actually causing this. You know, it's like hockey. Like once again, going to hockey, it's not the person who starts it; it's the person who finishes it or retaliates that gets the penalty.
Oh really?
Oh, like if you watch, like not within the rules, but
Okay.
that's always how it works out. You know, where like especially if you see those scrums around the net, typically someone's poked the goalie and the defenseman's turn around and punch the guy in the face.
Yeah,
the
that's
defenseman will go to the box. The guy who poked the goalie won't get anything.
Yeah, I asked you because I don't honestly watch a lot of hockey.
The fuck. No.
I'm not Canadian. I don't know. I just don't.
No.
I like watching it in person. I don't like being behind the TV and like watching it.
I'm with you. Playoffs hockey I'll watch, but
Yeah.
league, I can't be bothered.
I have season tickets.
Buy season tickets. Going to a game is a different thing entirely.
But yeah, no, it's I love going to hockey games. It's so good.
The sound of the sticks
Oh,
on
yeah.
the ice is something different.
It's a lot
Very
different pace, too, which is cool, as opposed to the TV.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
way
Yeah,
different.
TV seems slow.
Yeah.
You know, then you're there live and like, holy shit, they can move.
Actually, one more thing about hockey while we're on the subject, like on TV you can't see where the other players are that aren't on screen, like
Oh,
so you
yeah.
don't know how the game is played. Like sometimes I had to play NHL, the video games, to see like, well, where are the defense supposed to be? Because they're never on the screen when you're like on
Yeah.
offense. Like, where is this guy supposed to be?
Yeah.
So that helps.
Oh yeah, the transition game for sure. But yeah, no, with and along the same lines with when people aren't going off when they're getting hit. If you waste 1, 2, 3, 4 balls on a person before they go out, if they go out, that's 4 ball. Like that's
We can lose
whatever.
balls and it can
Yeah.
cost us the game because you lose ball control, especially if they're hiding in the
Exactly.
corner and stuff and they get nicked. And
Yeah. So it.
At the same time, you can play by angles. Let's say he didn't get hit.
Yeah.
But you might have thought it nicked off their ball, off their shoulder. If there was a sideline ref, if they saw it perfectly, safe. But
Yeah.
our angle, like, I'm pretty sure I hit you out, but I'll give it to you. But I'm
Yeah.
not totally sure. It's my angle. you
That
know
first
what
one, you're like, that's your 1.
Yeah.
If it becomes 2 or 3, you're like,
every time someone asks me, like, the type of person get hit, like, well, it depends on whose angle you're looking at.
Yeah, that's true.
There's multiple eyes on court, especially on, like, finals, no matter what, right? There's, like, 200 eyes on court. Not 200, but, like,
Yeah.
whatever the
Oh,
amount
totally.
of people is, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And the conversation always happens right after.
You know what? I don't think we'll ever get rid of this conversation either. It'll always be there. One thing that was different, though, this playoffs, I noticed that there was a lot more refs calling the dead ball from the resets. And I don't know if that worked out well all the time, because like a ref would be like running onto the court to get a dead ball, and now he'd be on the court and in play, and people would have to like, what the heck?
Exactly, and that's been one of my issues with the reset rule from the beginning, is that it requires ref involvement.
should we get a stick and like beat it? So,
Yeah, get that broom out.
You know, I wonder almost like if there's still 6 players on the court, like a reset is just they're not resets at that point, because there were 6
would say
people
so.
they should have had a chance to get that ball, and like if you get down to like 4, maybe then it's like now we can start calling it
resets
something.
after like a minute of play or something.
Sure, or something like that.
No resets after a minute.
Because yeah, there was times where like there was like it seemed like there was 8 people on the court because a ref would be out there grabbing a ball, like just what was going on?
Yeah, and we'll get into the resets in another podcast.
fair
We'll go deep into those
We'll go
and a few
deep.
other things. Because I felt myself wanting to speak more about like no.
Sean's
hold
got
on.
me on a project, so I'll have some stats for you guys later when we finish your stats.
Sounds good, but yeah, no, because it'll be interesting to see what happens. And with the self-refereeing, it always happens, and it's something that I think it's frustrating in a lot of ways, because you typically see the same people under question. It's not there's one person over here who does it once. There'll be the occasional graze where like, did it hit that person? But we see it a lot, almost with high throws too. It's consistently the same people that we have doubts and questions about when it comes to good self-refereeing. And I remember a long time ago, one of my teammates punched a wall in frustration and broke his hand because of how much cheating happened in playoffs.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and when I addressed it with with people that were above me in the league at that point, they said, "Well, how do you even track that?" And it wasn't like asking for, what are your thoughts on this? It was totally rhetorical. So there's almost a disinterest, for tracking that. And you have executives who can do that. You have spirit ballots where captains can fill in. I would love to see spirit ballots have a requirement that you have to put a comment in for a team.
What if it's the self-ref ballots instead of the spirit ballot? Because spirit, everyone's having a good time, unless otherwise stated. What about which of these teams are not self-refing properly? Because then you could start getting some stats being well, this team's terrible at it. Because right now spirit's well, I don't know. Does that mean they were not self-reffing, or were they throwing high, or what?
That's usually what the comments are, though. Is it's this team was dishonest, or this team threw high. That's the most of the comments that we get on the ballot.
Some insider info.
Is there follow through?
It's noted, and it's definitely there are teams that get put on watch, but that's more or less about it. We try and sort of, kill the fire before it enrages. So the next week, if we see that team, it's all right, guys, we really want you focusing on lower throws. I don't want to see anything. I want you guys focusing hard on refs, call those dead balls, blah blah blah. And I would say probably 70% of the time it helps and it gets better. But then there's maybe 3 weeks down the road, then they go back to where they were.
But I would say I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. You know what? A team might be having a bad day.
Yeah,
that's also true.
I know I've had some bad days. I just threw high. I do apologize as fast as I can, or even high fives and go up to them. But there are days for every single player. It's gonna be really bad.
Absolutely.
And at that point, sometimes they can't control it. They just bring it to dodgeball and it just happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it is kind of a weird area for me, because I've known some players who throw really low, and then there's just that one day that just had terribly gone wrong for them for some odd reason, and they all throw high. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and along the lines with self-refereeing, do we think it's a rules knowledge thing, not knowing?
A little bit,
rules?
yeah. You can tell when people don't know the rule, and it's a lot of muscle memory. Is the same thing. You need to know what it feels like when it flicks your shorts and stuff. Some people don't know that, and it took me a long time to be is that a hit or was that wind? I don't know. Mm-hmm. And you eventually get a good sense for yeah, that was a hit and that was wind. You know what the difference is, but it takes a while to get that down.
Yeah, there are certain players out there. I've played with them, most of them. Even hits them let's say the falk of the hair. I'm out. I'm oh yeah, cool. That's fine. Donald. It hit you. Yeah.
Yeah, Donald.
Well,
for sure.
Also I know there are players out there too. They just feel it, just a gust of wind, but it didn't even touch them, then they just walk off. Mm-hmm. Right? I remember playing against Tyson.
Yeah.
In tier 1, and when I was with Minions, I threw a ball at him from the angle where Rattel was recording from. It was directly behind him. It didn't even looked like it hit him, but he just walked off. And I congratulate him for that, because you know what? I'm pretty sure because in my thought too, I swear to God, I missed you, completely missed you. But then he walks off. I'm okay. Yeah, I'll take it for what it is.
Tyson was one of the most honest players in the league, to a fault, in a lot of ways. But you always knew that when he won a title, he did it the right way, and that's something that is very commendable. But yeah, no, much like high throws, there's no real easy solution to these topics. So along those things, let's get to the big thing that we've been holding off until the very end, and that's pub night. All right, I wasn't there. I don't think you were there either.
There.
You were there in sweats.
That's
way to represent. Yeah.
Who won pub night?
Edmonton.
Edmonton?
I'll say Edmonton.
Edmonton won pub night. So CDL didn't bring it?
Supposedly CDL left early, from what I hear.
What?
Someone left early.
What about all that? Somebody. Was it a bearded somebody?
No. He was there. Mark Williams was there.
Okay.
And came with a full beard. Oh, we didn't talk about the beard yet.
No, we haven't.
So we'll get to that after.
Yeah.
But Darren, from what I hear, left, and and then from what I saw at the very end of the night, it was Edmonton playing flip cups the whole night. And, I would say they won.
Well, congratulations on that.
Well, before we offer congratulations, there was another league that was a challenger to the title, and even stated as much to us that they are going to be a challenger to the title, and that was Boss. How did Boss do?
They didn't show up.
I
We had to give Edmonton something because they beat them at Dodge.
Oh, right. You're very cordial. Yeah.
Good
Nice.
job, Angus. Good call.
Yeah.
We got
Way to
lucky
build
this time.
community.
they might have outdrank themselves. You never know. You never know what could have happened. They didn't get their rides or whatever.
Yeah, I think the only post I saw of them was Angus posting a photo of 5 of them wearing the same color shirt.
Yeah.
They didn't plan it.
Yeah, I'm like, Angus handed them out.
Same exact size.
Yeah, but they had sleeves, so I don't know if Angus brought them or
that's
somebody else did. Oh, no, the Angus wore sleeves.
What?
Yeah, during the game he was wearing
you're right.
sleeves all day.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, he was restricted. His guns were limited. Disappointing. But all right, so Edmonton, congratulations. You guys won pub night, and as you said to us on Friday night, you definitely showed us how to party. I don't know if CDL will ever admit it, but I'm pretty sure they picked up a thing or two. But yeah, along those lines, who do we think had the best beard?
You know what? Mark Williams.
Williams is a specimen, a bearded specimen. It's something people should study. Science should be done on that beard.
Yeah, it was me. I think it was. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. D Mackey. We're like talking during pub night, and then I think she was talking about his beard. I went to touch it. I'm like, God damn, that's thick. It's like thick, and it was like just thick. Anyways.
Yeah, Mark is thick.
He's thick.
He's thick.
I want to mention about the punching competition that went on with the punching bag. You know
Oh yeah.
that Jinno didn't do very well on? But,
No. My second time around was good. Second time around.
Yeah,
but
no one was there, but still.
It was not recorded. For
Yeah, so pretty much all throughout the night it was Shane and Baxter. They were punching the machine and putting in $1. They probably put in like $20 each at least, just the two of them, while everyone else was punching. It was Baxter held the record for quite a while at 750.
Yeah.
And then I think Shane tied it actually, 750, but obviously they want to have a...
Yeah.
I think Baxter hit 751.
No, I think the very last score I saw was
776.
Yeah.
Baxter hit 776, which is like pretty impressive. And then I think Shane hit 769. But
Yeah.
that was fun to watch. Michael from Dodgeball Edmonton, I think he hit 745, but that was around 10 o'clock, so I'm not sure exactly if he
That's
beat that or not. But that was fun to watch.
That's a good drinking game, I would say. If you really put it into the thing, it would be a good drinking game.
I'm amazed that they had the energy to keep going.
They were pretty drunk.
Okay, fair enough. They're probably really
There's no
sore
such thing as
today.
energy at that point. It's just...
Fair enough.
And one of the ladies from Dodgeball Edmonton too, I think it was Lisa.
Mhm.
She hit over 700 as well. Which,
Yeah, she beat me. I was like, all right, I quit. Thanks, guys.
yeah, she beat a lot of the guys out. She had
Technique,
quite the
Gino. You've been doing too much
It was a lot of
lifting.
technique.
I
She
know.
was just the yeah.
It's all bulk and anything.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
So we already answered the who will smile first question earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
So which one of our two contestants stopped smiling first, Chermy or Jasper?
Wasn't it Chermy?
Pretty sure it's Chermy.
Every time
Alright, yeah,
I
I only ever saw Jasper smiling.
Yeah.
I walked in at like right after work and Jasper's like, "See, I'm still smiling." I'm like, good job, Jasper. Good job.
But the thing is, like, when I saw him get hit up by your games, he's like, why are you smiling? You're the first one out.
You got me. I'm really upset about this, guys. Next game.
But still, Jasper's a nice dude.
Jasper is a solid guy,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited to see how he develops over the next couple of seasons.
Pick him up, man. Someone's got to
Yeah.
pick him up.
Yeah, he's in that category of people who haven't won a VDL Tier 1 title, but will.
Yeah.
Along with Ian Parker and a few others.
So I just had a cough.
Oh yeah, this guy.
What?
Yeah, Gino.
Gino, do you need some water?
Yeah, no, it's right here. It's right here.
With your short glass.
Short but stocky compared to your glasses.
Truth.
Cool.
All right.
Cool story.
Yeah, way to go. So, final thoughts on this weekend. Was it awesome?
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
I would say so.
Definitely awesome.
Excellent. Are we looking forward to the next one?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are there things that can be better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, even
Will
like,
that prevent us from being a part of it moving forward?
No.
thing is like with everything, like dodgeball started the same way. Like you gotta refine the rules. You gotta refine how the night go, and refine how everything will go. Right. Like it'll definitely get better as the years go by.
Is it still recording?
Yeah, no, I just gotta make sure.
That'd be awkward.
Even though I was
Sorry.
going around taking pictures, it seemed like everybody was having a good time. No one looked incredibly sad. I hope.
No.
No?
Yeah, I thought the mood in there was like some of the best mood I've ever felt at a dodgeball event. Like all the VDL playoffs I've been to, like this was
I
probably
think
the best
everyone was
mood.
just really excited to be there. And it was everyone playing against each other. Whereas when you're playing in VDL playoffs, it's like there's 6 courts.
Yeah.
So everyone's excited on their own court. Whereas this is like the whole big thing.
Yeah, 'cause it's like all of this is like
it's
tier
like,
1
oh,
now.
we
Like,
beat
here's
this
a
guy, and then they're like, oh, but we beat them, and blah blah blah. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, on our court we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, I think the energy that you saw during the CDL showdown wouldn't have been possible on a playoff night.
No, big time no.
At all. And I think that what happened afterwards as well, it definitely spoke to the event. We were high-fiving each other, sharing stories of being caught out by each other, and just laughing and having a good time.
And you guys even had the C's for Party cheer going on.
At the
right
end,
after.
yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. It was a fun moment to be a part of. It's something that maybe my favorite memory now at dodgeball. I'm really excited. So with that said, we'll wrap up the show. Before we do, it's something that actually I meant to do at the beginning, but we'll do it right now. Thank you. Thank you. You guys came up to us at the tournament to speak with us. You guys have sent us messages on Facebook, gotten text messages, possibly a telegraph or two. But it means a lot that you guys are tuning in. It means a lot that you guys are engaged. It means a lot that you guys are asking questions about future podcasts, such as Yosef.
Don't worry, Yosef, it's getting there.
But thank you. Definitely leave comments. Definitely, send us messages. This show only gets better with your feedback and your input.
Yeah.
What we do moving forward in other aspects, will definitely be, what you guys say will help determine what we do moving forward. But yeah, it was awesome. It was very humbling to, answer questions about what we're doing and to speak to the beginning of something that could be really special for us and for you guys as well, because you're in at the ground floor and it only gets better. So once again, thank you very much. This has been the Showdown. I'm Kyle.
I'm Nate.
Jinno.
Matt.
And we'll see you on the courts. Thanks.
Bye.
All right.
Bye, Enzo.
Cool.